firecracker in you because you be like,
Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your girl Stubbs, and welcome to another episode of The Stubbs Show. I hope that you had a lovely day. I hope that you are ready to be informed and gain some more wisdom about dementia. You know, this show I wanted to do because a lot of people my age and older are now beginning to take care of their parents. And a lot of times we're dealing with diagnoses and things that we don't know much about and we need to be informed about. So when I had a guest that I came across who had information about dementia, I thought, wow, this would be a great topic to discuss because there are a lot of things that we don't know about dementia, as well as some myths and things that we may think that we know that may not be true and may be true. So I wanted to inform you and get you the facts and get you some more knowledge and things that you may need to know about dementia. But while we wait for my special guest to enter into the studio, I just want to thank you for joining me for another episode of the Stubb Show. Without you, this show would not be able to grow, and I would not be able to come on every week and sit here confidently and bring you more guests from all over the world. So remember, you guys, continue to spread the word, continue to hit the share button like right now, hit share, hit repost, whatever it is that you have to hit to tell people to log in to listen to this show. Share it on their inboxes, copy the link, send them a text, whatever it is that you got to do, but get them on the show because it is you that helps the show grow. Also remember, I am also always also the word, I am always looking for new guests to come onto the show for future shows to talk about topics that will help people to take a leap of faith, will enhance their life, or encourage them and give them the wisdom and knowledge that they need. So I thank you for logging on, and I hope that you had a great day in this crazy world. We are living in times where everything is happening. I mean, the kids are going wild, the parents are going wild, the grandparents are going wild. Every night when I look at the news, I see something new that doesn't actually shock me. It's like the shock factor is going up and up and up. It's continue to elevate because the things that people are doing, it's like it's no longer wild. It's like, okay, but somebody did that last week. Okay, and now you just up the ante a little bit and did a little bit more. But if you aren't praying, I will encourage you to pray daily. You know, even if you don't know how to pray, you can Google, you can ask Chat GPT, hey, I need a prayer for faith, I need a prayer for mental growth, mental stability, I need a prayer for love, kindness, whatever it is that you may need. Go ahead and ask Chat or put in a Google and get those prayers out there because you need to cover yourself in this world where it just seems like all types of things are going on. So I'm waiting for my special guest to come on in. But while we wait for her, let's take a quick break to let you know some more about the Stubb Show. Then we come right back. We're going to be talking more here. And I thank you guys for joining. Remember, I'm on Instagram at the_Stubbs_show. And I'm on Facebook and YouTube at the Stubb Show. Here we go. Let's get it. Got a little dead air. Welcome back to the Stub Show. My special guest has entered into the studio, and I am getting ready to bring her to the stage so that we can get to talking about our topic of dementia, which is everything dementia. We're going to not just focus on your older years and just dive into dementia with the diagnosis and the symptoms, and we're going to talk about how you could be burning yourself out. To work your way into an early diagnosis of dementia. So we have my guest, Miss Ashley Grave, in the studio, and we're going to go ahead and introduce her because I don't want to hold you guys for long. So let's get ready to do her introduction and bring her into the studio so that you guys can meet my special guest. Meet my guest, Ashley Grave. She's a certified nutritional practitioner and burnout recovery specialist. She's also the founder of Holistically Curated, a practice dedicated to helping high achieving women and caregivers permanently exit the cycle of exhaustion. After years of balancing a high pressure corporate career while being a primary caregiver for a loved one with dementia, Ashley experienced a full body shutdown. The burnout was so severe that she lost all sensation in her leg for an entire month, a physical manifestation of a life lived too deep in survival mode. This harrowing wake up call led her to leave corporate banking, become a holistic nutritionist, and author Navigating Dementia Together to help other women from the way back to themselves, to find their way back to themselves. Welcome, my special guest. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Stub Show. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. How's the weather where you are?
It is gorgeous. About 20 degrees Celsius today. The sun's out. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's pretty warm here today. I think we're at like 81, so I'm loving it. I'm sick of the cold weather. So thank you for joining us and let the people know where you are joining us from.
From Canada, so near Niagara Falls, Ontario.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what time is it there? Is it the same? It's not the same. What time is it there?
Same, 7:09.
It's 7:09. Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump right into our interview for today. We know that you're all about the holistic healing and keeping women from burning out, but today we are talking about everything dementia. And my first question for you is, what made you want to take that leap of faith and dive into helping people to learn more about dementia?
It really was a product of my own journey. At the time when I wrote the book, I was working full time. I was in school part time, severely burned out, and then my loved one had a diagnosis. So it was through the journey of navigating burnout as well as a recent diagnosis, coming out the other side and seeing how things can improve is what really sparked my interest to write a book about it and to focus in on supporting caregivers and burnout as well.
Yeah, because you left the corporate world for this. Was that hard? Was that a hard thing to do?
It was not an option. I think if I stayed, I wasn't gonna be. I think I was hospital bound if I stuck around. So it wasn't an option. So I mean, it's definitely a journey. It comes with its own challenges, but I think like I had to do something else, and this was the next best option for me. Something that I'm passionate about, enjoy, and have a lot of experience in.
Oh, that's great that you took that leap of faith because it's hard for many of us to just go and do that. But like you said, you didn't have an option, but you also didn't sit down. You continued to push.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. And it was just like the timing was nice too because of when I left school and leaving corporate. It kind of, at least I was fortunate to have that background as well. And also the goal I already had of wanting to focus solely in on nutrition as opposed to corporate. So it worked out.
Yeah, so tell us, what has become the most surprising thing you have learned since learning about dementia?
One of the most surprising things I would say, when I was doing my research, one of the things that came up that was most surprising to me is there's new research suggesting that it's actually type 3 diabetes, that it's the constant fluctuation of our blood sugar levels causing plaque in the brain. I had no idea that was new research, and that was pretty surprising to me.
Yeah, that is. I never even heard of it.
Yeah, so I guess that the research for dementia as a whole is pretty recent. There was, I believe in the, it's all in my book. I had sourced it there too, but a lot, I don't know, 80 years ago, they did a lot of research. They found understanding of it, of what dementia was, Alzheimer's, how it kind of gets created. But then we didn't have the technology to do much more with it. So in the last, say, 10, 15 years, technology has grown, more information has become available. So the research has sort of amped back up again, and finding different genes connected, lifestyle factors connected, ways that we can improve quality of life as well.
So you mentioned genes connected. So this can be passed down. It could be a genetic thing.
Yeah, so I believe it was originally the first one I understand it was the APOE4 gene, but now I believe there's about 77 genes associated with it. So even though it's genetic, it can be genetic. It's the common thing to remember is that it genetic loads the gun, diet and lifestyle pulls the trigger. So you can have the gene, but it doesn't mean that this is your destiny, that this is what you're going to have. It might mean I should take some precautions and I should do certain things differently to make sure that I don't turn on those genes.
Yeah. So when we think about dementia, we automatically think, oh, that's something that we don't have to worry about until we get 70, 80, or just don't worry about it at all unless the doctor brings it up to you.
Yeah.
So you're saying now we need to maybe take some more precaution earlier in age and maybe get some tests done to see if we have the genes for it.
Yeah, you absolutely could do that testing. And before we came on, I actually looked because I wasn't sure the standard age group for dementia, to be honest with you. So I guess 65 is what they say is the normal or the most common age, but 3% of cases happen earlier. Some as early as in their 20s, but very unlikely. 40s and 50s is becoming more common, although that number is still low. It's 3% of all cases, but it's a possibility.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, and I mean, with new things developing and coming every day, every year, you never know. So, like you said, take that precaution. So,
Yeah.
how does burnout relate to dementia? Because you talk a lot about burnout. So, how does that relate?
I think it's a double factor. So one, women are more likely to be the caregivers. Women are more likely to have dementia and autoimmune conditions, and women are more likely to get burnout. And so when we add on these extra layers of things that we have to do day to day, that's an extra source of mental thoughts and capacity and energy that has to go there. And if we have nothing else sort of lesson in our world, that can help lead to burnout. And then when you have burnout, it will change your brain. The constant stress will impact your brain. That can also sort of, there's some evidence showing that chronic stress and burnout and high cortisol can actually also lead to dementia. So if it's a loved one that's a family member that you already potentially have that gene, there's a good chance genetically, and now you're burnt, like you're stressed out, you have burnout, you're changing the chemistry of your brain, making it even more likely to sort of activate these things for later in life. So it impacts it in a number of different ways, really.
Wow. So, are the numbers for women having dementia higher than men? The
Yeah,
percentage?
They are. I'm not sure exactly the main difference between men and women, but it does typically impact women more than men.
Us women, us women.
I know.
I
Yes.
mean, we're so strong, but sometimes we just need to calm down and use that strength in a different kind of way because, like you said, we could mentally burn out and work our way into an early diagnosis of dementia because we want to help and do everything for everyone and just be superwoman when we just need to just sit down and chill out for a while. So, what are some of the early warning signs of dementia that people may ignore?
You know what? I feel like today with just stress coming at us, and there's so many demands on our day-to-day life now that it's so easy to forget things, and then we'll kind of joke about it and just say, "Oh, you know what? I'm just overwhelmed," or be a little bit more passive. That would be something I think is one that we often put aside as just I'm really busy, as opposed to saying, hang on a second, I'm busy, but what's going on with my brain
Mm,
right now? And that is also, and it might not even just be dementia, like the if those frequent for like just forgetting simple things, it can be hormones, it could be dementia, it could also be mold, or it could be something in the environment that we
right.
don't really know about that can mimic dementia too. So I think it's those, oh, why did I walk in this room? And then not letting it be so passive of this happens all the time, it happens to everybody, but instead saying, hang on, maybe there's something else that is, this is my body giving me a subtle sign that I need to check in on myself and see what's going on.
Yeah, ignoring those warning signs in advance, and if we can just take a hold of it early, we can delay some of the process of it. Is dementia curable?
So currently they say no. So currently they say that it isn't, that the only treatment right now is medication. So, and I list a lot about it in my book, but my journey was a little bit different. I'm also a big believer that if you give your body what it needs, it's a healing machine. We've learned, we used to think that the brain couldn't repair itself, and now we're seeing with neuroplasticity that in fact it can. So I think research says no, it's not curable, but I also believe maybe we can believe in ourselves that it can actually change it, we can do things about it. So when my loved one was diagnosed, we did a lot of different things, and the memory score in 6 months went from 21 to 29. That when we walked into the doctor's office, she's like, I don't know what you're doing, but you keep doing it.
Yeah.
And we did the medication, but also it was exercise, it was adding protein, it was managing the sugar levels as well. Once I learned that piece of information, so how do we navigate that? And making sure there's quality fats and fiber. Those were the biggest factors to the changes. And if you're in a country that doesn't get a lot of sun all year round, vitamin D was another thing that I found very helpful.
Wow. Yeah, I would rather go the holistic route than the traditional route because when you watch those commercials about some of the medications out and they give you like the other side effects that can come, and it's like, well, heart attack, stroke, this or that, and you're like, wow. So if I just take this one pill for one problem, it's going to possibly produce all these other problems. And that's why I wanted to speak with you about the holistic route versus, always just going to the traditional and thinking that, we have to go that way because there was once a time when we didn't have the pill and the medication was of the earth.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting too. One is like you get this laundry list of you can cure your heartburn, but you might have a stroke in the process. And then you get on this medication, and now you need another medication to manage those symptoms, and it spirals. I know people that are on like 18 different medications. Like,
Yeah.
do you need them all, or is it just like putting out more fires? What's going on?
Yeah, yeah, that is so true. And you're looking at them take it, and you're like, wow, that was almost a whole meal. Like,
Yeah. And the
you know,
mental energy to make sure that you're even taking them ones at the right time in the right place. Like Yeah, it's like in Olympic sports sometimes, making sure that your medications are managed.
Yeah, and the side effects of if you don't take one, what causes the other to trigger something else in you. So, yeah,
Yeah.
this is a good topic, but we're going to get ready to take another quick break, and then we'll be right back here on the Stub Show. Don't go anywhere, you guys. All right, you guys, welcome back to the Stub Show. I thank you guys for joining me as we talk with my special guest on today about the topic of dementia. Remember, you guys, don't forget to follow me on all social media platforms, the Stub Show. That's at YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And join every Monday at 7 p.m. for the show. Now, I'm bringing my guest back on, Miss Ashley Grave, and we were talking before we left, kind of about like the holistic way of going about things with dementia. And before we get off of that topic, I wanted to ask, like, what are some of the non-medical approaches that people can go or do when it comes to dementia?
Experience, it's been the diet and lifestyle have been huge, and learning that it could be a type 3 diabetes, so blood sugar management is what is huge. So the things that we did was, again, increasing protein. So the older you get, the higher your need for protein actually needs. Increasing fiber, we want to get 30 grams of fiber a day, and I've yet to meet a person that, before we've ever started connecting to see how we can move things forward, has met that goal. So most of us are deficient in it. And enough water. We need to be hydrated as well. The other thing would be movement of any kind. So I'd like to go take my loved one to the gym for exercising. We do strength training, and that has been very helpful. It helps to build neuroplasticity. We're literally rewiring the brain because we're doing things that they haven't done before. And you can make mental activities of it. So if we went to the gym, for example, what machine do we go first, second, third, and fourth? What did we last just do? What did we do a couple of days ago? What exercise is your favorite? Or things where we have to tell our body to do things that are unnatural, like a step up. So step up with the right leg and then come back down and step up with the left leg. Just adding in the physical movement, but not what we're used to doing, and stopping our body from just going in autopilot to actually saying, hang on, we're going to move differently. Those have been massive changes from implementing those. in my loved one. And also creatine is a supplement that I love, in addition to vitamin D. It's the most studied supplement out there. And we used to think that it was just for bodybuilders, but now we're finding it actually has a lot of cognitive support as well in the study. So it will also, it will help preserve your muscle mass, which is going to be excellent for your brain and your overall health, your quality of life. And it's also going to give you more autonomy in your life as you get older, but it also has that protective parts to it for your brain.
You know, I'm glad that you brought up movement, because in today's world, we have more couch potatoes than enough. It's like people will sit on the couch all day, and you really don't have to get up for anything but a few steps to the door. If you need to order anything, if you need to search for anything, everything is on your phone. So a lot of people aren't moving. And like you said, the small things when you get out with movement is your brain recognizing, hey, I got to lift this leg to go above this curve. You know, I have to push up to lift this weight if you're at the gym, and it's giving your mind things to think about versus let's just tell Siri or let's just go on chat and ask them to look up everything for me. So I'm glad that you brought that factor up. That's very important. And you mentioned caring for a loved one, which is something a lot of people are doing at this age and day, and it's hard. You know, what advice would you give to someone who's caring for a loved one who seems burnt out or getting irritated? Because it can become irritating.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And like you said earlier, that women are strong. And I've heard burnout be framed as burnout is the curse of the strong, because we're always like, we can do it. I can do it. I can do it by myself. And then we feel bad asking for help. We feel bad reaching out for support. But you don't have to do it alone. And nor should you do it alone, because when you're at home with your loved one or wherever you're doing that, the reality is you're not going to tell them the things that are coming to your mind, because there's no value in that. So
Right.
who can you tell? That you can tell unapologetically and say, this, you know what? And maybe everything coming out of my mouth, I don't really mean it right now, but I need to get it up and I need to get it out because I'm frustrated. And maybe it's like, I'm at my maximum capacity of what I can handle cognitively right now. Asking a friend, can you find any resources for me that may be helpful in this situation, and reaching out and asking for help. But not doing this alone. We're human beings. We're never meant to tackle life entirely alone. We're meant for communities. So lean on your community and ask for the help when you need it.
That's so true. You're just a human being. Ask for some help. Get yourself some support and possibly therapy for
Yeah.
yourself, you know.
Huge. I love therapy if you can make it happen. I went to see a psychotherapist on my journey, and that was really helpful. And one of the things that she helped me, which was profound for myself, and I wouldn't have, had I not gone to see this psychotherapist, I wouldn't have had this change. So I don't know if I would have written a book. I don't know if I would have stopped like being sad instead of being proactive. But she said, and I, we're driving to an appointment. I'm sad driving to these appointments. And she's like, well, but two things can be true. You can drive and be sad, but could you also not drive and tell yourself that this is an extra 45 minutes you didn't get before and now you do? And if this situation didn't present itself, that's less time you'd actually have with this person, because instead you'd be working. That's what you'd be doing you'd fill this time somehow. So can we shift our language? So it gives you another perspective that you can't think of. And had I not had that very specific conversation, I don't think I would have followed the path that I did.
Yeah, it's changing that perspective. Really quick, let the people know how they can connect with you and purchase your book.
So my book is purchased on Amazon. So Navigating Dementia Together on there. I have a website, holisticallycurated.com. I also have an Instagram account, which is holistically_curated. And if you check out my Instagram right now, I'm actually in a competition, Entrepreneur of Impact. And it's totally vote-based. So in that comes a prize where I'm hoping to use, if I win, the money to grow the services that I have, to reach more people, to help more women, to help more caregivers, to help more dementia individuals to sort of find their footing and get the help that they need.
Yeah, you guys make sure you check her out. She also speaks with people on her Instagram about different topics and burnout. Ladies, go check it out. You need to not burn yourself out.
Mm.
You need some help. So make sure you guys head on over to her Instagram. And before we get off, we will definitely let you know where and how you can go and purchase the book. So I want to get into one more thing regarding like caregivers. Like, what are some things that we need to pay attention to that's showing that the dementia is progressing? Because a lot of times we'll say, oh, mom just repeating herself, or our moms and parents for years have called us our other siblings names, so we just look at that as like, oh, that's nothing, she's been doing that for years. Like, what is that ding ding or a few ding ding things that you need to say, wow, wait a minute, I need to maybe go get my mom tested, or my dad or aunt?
So it's going to be the continued like frequent forgetting. What did I eat today? I don't remember. Maybe also reflecting back to younger years, um, things that happened, short-term memories becoming a little less consistent. And if there's a shakeup in the routine is going to throw someone with dementia out of sorts quick. So if you change that routine and they are not handling that very well, that is something I would definitely look into.
So should you have build a form or start or create a routine for them once they get diagnosed with dementia?
I think that the best plan is to continue with life as much as normal as possible. And there's varying stages. So you can have it with minor impacts, really. Like I don't remember taking my medication. I don't remember if I ate my food or not, but I can still go and I can have conversations with people. I can do those things. And then there's other more extreme cases of it where they need a lot more support, and maybe a lot more resources. So I think the goal should be to disrupt life as much, like to keep life as consistent as possible while you can, and then modify if need be. And so I make a lot of suggestions in the book of things like maybe a memory board, calendars to help support the events or birthdays or like bill payment days, things like that.
Yeah, from personal experience of having to deal with someone who have dementia, I have seen where they may the short term memory is like, why you're thinking to yourself, well, I just said that to you, or you just asked me that, but they can remember something from 30 years ago, and you may find yourself saying like, how come you can remember that,
Mm.
but we're having this conversation that you keep constantly forgetting about. And it can be very disturbing to see a parent go through that, or someone that you really care about going through that. And then, like you said, not remembering if they ate a meal, so that causes them to lose weight. And I've seen videos where people show the beginning of dementia towards the end, and it totally changes the person.
Absolutely. It absolutely can. And you know what? Also, as a caregiver, you'll find moments. It's always, I think it's going to be a bumpy road. We can mitigate, we can do things to help make things easier, but there's always going to be the first time that they don't know who you are. How do you navigate that? And it's going to really, that'll shock you and that will be really upsetting. So, and then they'll go back to remembering who you are. And it's those fluctuations. So as a caregiver, it's a very emotional journey for sure. And it will
Yeah.
continue as things evolve and change.
Yeah, and I would suggest if it's something that you can't do, or you feel like you said that first time of who are you, and you like, me, you don't know who I am, like it can be very hurtful, or it can leave you lost if you don't get understanding and study and learn more and get more information about it, because you don't know what to do. And I don't see enough information out about dementia.
Yeah, you're totally right. And that's I agree that I didn't find a lot either, which is why I wrote the book, and I wrote it short. Like there's no fluff in it. It's written into 4 different sections. So one is like, what is it? And research. It was a whole section on how to support yourself and a whole section on how to support a loved one. And it's because I didn't feel like there was a lot of easy information to access. And when you get something like this, you're almost in crisis mode because it could, you don't know what the path is going to look like. So I specifically designed the book to be short and concise with just the bits of information only, no fluff, and that you can go to the space that you need, because I didn't really find a collection of things to in one spot of how do I help myself and my loved one collectively, and what happened, how did this happen, is it going to happen to me, I don't know. I had to really source out a lot of different places to get the information.
Yeah. So what is the main thing that you want people to get from your book, from reading your book?
The main thing I was hoping for, so the main thing I was hoping for was that it's a quick and easy read, a resource that someone in crisis can pick it up and look at wherever they need to be. But I also hope that it gives a little bit of hope for the person reading it, because it can be scary, but maybe with some of the things that are listed in there, we can mitigate that, and we can make life a little bit easier. And then if we make life a little bit easier for ourselves and our loved one, I feel like that can really foster hope for what could be or what will be down the road.
And since you're into the holistic route of things, what would you suggest to someone who has been the caregiver for someone with dementia for years, and watched the process from the beginning to the end and may have just lost their loved one? What would you say to that person, or they're in the process of losing them?
That's really tough. I mean, I would try to remind them to do some things for themselves, because they've probably devoted so much of their resources to this other individual, and losing them or knowing they're going to lose them, it can feel, I think for some people, it can feel like a bit of relief, and then guilt over the relief. And then when they're gone, my whole life is now flipped upside down again, because I devoted so much of my time to this caregiver, or to this individual, my loved one. So I think one is acknowledging that if you are feeling relief, that it's normal and that's okay, because it's closing a chapter. And I hope that you also will find ways back to your own joy. I think you put yourself on the back burner for so long. Hopefully this is an opportunity to come right back to the front burner and put yourself as a priority, and do the things that you didn't get to do all of this time, and make sure that you go ahead and you do those things.
And just making sure that people understand when you say you feel relief, because that is one thing that I noticed when I was researching some things on dementia, that they were saying, allow yourself and be okay with feeling that relief, because a lot of people want that at some point, because you're watching this person go through these many stages, and it's taking from you, pouring into them. So don't have that guilt.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's a heavy weight to carry, so we can want to have relief from this heavy weight to let it go.
Yeah. Before we go into this quick break, what are one or two things that you want people to know about dementia that we may have not discussed so far?
I would say just that there's hope, that it may, and if you are experiencing a loved one that's going through it, or you're worried that you're going to get it, that you may have it one day, that there is hope, that these interventions can be very, very helpful and beneficial. And it doesn't have to be this death sentence that you might initially think that it is. It can be really hard, and the road's going to be different for everybody. But if it's a new thing for you, it doesn't have to be that death sentence. There are things you can do to make your life and your loved ones' life easier, and to help them improve and slow the deteroration as well.
Yeah, like you brought up, get up and do that movement, get up and move around. And like you said, while you're young enough to have the mind working at its best, or at least functioning at mid-level, you want to start switching up the routine a little bit. Don't just get up in the morning and do the same thing in the house. Get out and move outside the house. Change up from taking the elevator when you walk into the workplace to getting on the stairs, because your mind, like you said, is in autopilot. It knows exactly what you want to do. There's this book I'm reading, actually it's right here, The Power of Habits.
Oh.
And it talks about how habits can be good but also bad, and you need to change your routine so that your mind cannot be on autopilot all the time and it does different things. So we're getting ready to take another quick break, and then we will be right back here on the Stub Show with my special guest, Miss Ashley Grave, and we're going to let you know how you connect with her and close out this interview on dementia. All right, you guys, welcome back to the Stub Show with my special guest, Ashley Grave, coming all the way from Canada. And today we're talking about everything dementia. Before we left, we were discussing, being a caregiver for your loved one, not feeling guilty for, the relief of if you happen to lose them, and just being able to ask for help and get some support. But let me let you guys know that Ashley has a book out that you can get that has resources in it. It will speak to you a lot more than this interview because we couldn't get into everything. And then also you can connect with her on Instagram and her other platforms. So Ashley, welcome back, and let the people know how do you get a copy of the book. That's what we want them to do.
Yeah, so currently it's on Amazon. So Navigating Dementia, a holistic guide to supporting a loved one with dementia. And I do have a link also on my website at www.holisticallycurated.com.
All right, you guys, I'm trying to get this into the chat. There you go. So you can check that out whether you're on Facebook or YouTube watching. This has been great talking with you about dementia. I would like to thank you for joining us here on the Stubbs Show to talk about this. Before we leave, my last question to you is what do you want people to understand about being diagnosed with or caring for a loved one with dementia, especially a parent?
I would say that especially a recent diagnosis, it doesn't have to be a death sentence. So my journey started 3 years ago, and we haven't had any deterioration further from the initial diagnosis. So if you implement the right strategies, I'm not saying it's going to work every time, but it doesn't have to be the death sentence that you might think that it's going to be when you first hear about it. And there are supports available to you to support yourself and your loved one, because you really want to make sure that you're not losing yourself in that journey as well.
Yeah, you don't want to lose yourself, and that's easy for us to do, especially us women. So I thank you for joining us here on this episode of the Stubbs Show, Everything Dementia. Remember, you guys, make sure you log onto our website at www.holisticallycurated.com. Get your copy of the book. Support her on all her platforms and follow her so you can ask her questions about dementia. Anything we didn't discuss, you can now connect with Ashley and ask her on your own. All right, Ashley, you continue to have a blessed day, and we will stay connected.
Yes, thank you. And I will respond to direct messages, so feel free to message me on Instagram too.
Oh, thank you for saying that. She said slide in her DM. She
Yeah.
will answer those questions and bring her on your show to talk about dementia. Let's spread the word.
Yes.
All right, you have a blessed day.
You too.
Thank you. All right, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed that discussion on dementia. For all my people who are taking care of a loved one who is experiencing dementia, my heart goes out to you. Make sure you just keep your patience. Make sure you find outlets and ways to deal with the situation. Connect with my guest, Ashley, on Instagram at holistically_curated so that you can ask her the questions and the things that we may have not discussed on today's show, because I don't need you to burn out. I don't want you to lose it. I don't want you to give up. I need you to get the support that you need. And if you are facing this, you don't have to do it alone. You do not have to do this alone. And I know that many times we don't want to pass our parents, especially, off to anyone else, or say that we had to put them in a center or we had to do certain things, but you have to do what's best for your situation and not worry about what other people may say or think. So you guys, remember, the Stubbs Show is here every Monday at 7 p.m., bringing you shows that matter, shows that will enhance your life, shows to bring you wisdom and knowledge, and shows to push you off the cliff to make you take that leap of faith. And most importantly, introducing you to new guests from all around the world. The discussion doesn't end here. It continues on our Instagram page at _Stubbs_show and on all the other platforms. So make sure you like, comment, and share, and ask anything that you want to ask, because we can forward you over to Ashley. All right, you guys, I have a video for today. Let's see if it comes up. I'm in here doing productions, you guys, which I am good on the phone with productions, and I'm learning the rest here on everything else. So let's see. I believe I have from my girl Day from California, also in Puerto Rico now. I look forward to seeing her soon. So let's see if it comes. And I love this song because it's all about love, and I'm all about love. So let's end the show with this. Come on, Day. It's coming up, you guys. DJ, put my music on.
I don't get love right back, I gotta know before you go. Yeah, why's your love so unconditional? Did God condition your heart, your mind, your body, your soul?